Eleanor Ward thought the most dangerous thing about walking home alone at night was getting mugged, until a feared Korean Mafia boss stepped out of the shadows and changed her life forever. What she didn't know was that Ha-Jun Kang's protection came with a deadly price, and someone from his blood-soaked past was already hunting her. When Elena woke up in a hospital bed whispering only one name, she sealed her fate as the weapon that could destroy the most dangerous man in Seoul. But here's what nobody saw coming. The waitress who'd never held a gun would soon pull the trigger to save the man who owned her heart. The quiet woman caring for her disabled grandmother was about to discover that love in the underworld means choosing between your soul and your survival. And when Jin Park finally made his move, Eleanor learned that sometimes the only way to protect your family is to become the very thing you fear most. Subscribe and comment below if you think love is worth risking everything for, because this story proves that some betrayals cut deeper than bullets. Elena Ward wiped down the last table. The Seoul diner was empty now. 3:30 in the morning meant she could finally go home. She counted the bills in her apron pocket, enough for grandmother's medicine, barely enough for rent. Elena felt tired. Her feet ached from the 12-hour shift, but she never complained. Work meant survival. "Lock up when you leave," called Mr. Kim from the kitchen. "See you tomorrow night." "Yes, sir." Elena gathered her jacket and purse. She checked the register one last time. Everything balanced. The street was quiet when she stepped outside. Seoul never truly slept, but this neighborhood dozed between shifts. Elena started walking. Her apartment was 6 blocks away. She knew every crack in the sidewalk. Something moved behind her. Elena felt her stomach tighten. She glanced back. A man in a dark jacket followed 20 feet behind. She walked faster. The footsteps matched her pace. Elena's breath caught. She turned down a side street, her usual shortcut home. The man turned too. Eleanor felt scared, really scared now. Her grandmother's warnings echoed in her mind. Young women alone at night made easy targets. She reached for her phone. The battery was dead. Elena felt panic rising. The main road was 2 blocks ahead. If she could reach it, if someone was still awake. "Hey, pretty girl." Eleanor's spine went cold. The voice was slurred, drunk. She didn't turn around. She ran. Heavy footsteps pounded behind her, getting closer. Elena's heart hammered. She stumbled on a loose stone, nearly fell. A hand grabbed her arm. "Where are you going so fast?" Elena spun around. The man was middle-aged, unshaven. His breath reeked of alcohol. "Let go of me," Eleanor said. Her voice was shaky. "Come on, just want to talk." His grip tightened. "Buy you a drink." "No, please." Eleanor tried to pull away. He yanked her closer. "Don't be difficult." A black SUV appeared at the corner, moving slow and silent. It stopped 10 feet away. The drunk man noticed. His grip loosened slightly. The driver's door opened. Elena saw expensive shoes first, then long legs in perfectly pressed pants, then a face that made her forget to breathe. The man was tall, Korean, maybe early 30s. His dark hair was styled back. His suit probably cost more than Elena made in 6 months, but it was his eyes that stopped her heart. Cold, controlled, dangerous. Eleanor felt something shift in the air, like a predator had entered the space. The drunk man felt it too. His hand fell away from Eleanor's arm. "Problem here." The stranger's voice was quiet, calm. Eleanor heard authority in those 2 words, the kind that didn't need to be loud. "No problem," the drunk man stammered. "Just talking to my friend. She doesn't look comfortable." The stranger moved closer, not hurried, not aggressive, just purposeful. Elena saw the drunk man's face go pale. Sweat appeared on his forehead. "I should go," the drunk man said. He backed away. "Sorry for bothering you, miss." He turned and ran. Elena stood frozen. Her purse had fallen. Bills scattered across the pavement. The stranger watched the drunk man disappear. Then his eyes found hers. Elena felt exposed, like he could see straight through her. "You're bleeding," he said. Elena looked down, a scratch on her palm from falling she hadn't noticed. "It's nothing." The stranger pulled a handkerchief from his pocket, white silk with dark blue edges. "Give me your hand." Elena hesitated. This man had just saved her, but something about him screamed danger. "I don't know you," she said. "No, you don't." He waited, patient. Elena felt her heart still racing, but she extended her hand. His fingers were gentle as he wrapped the silk around her palm. His touch was warm, steady. Eleanor felt safe for the first time all night, which terrified her. "Thank you," she whispered. He released her hand, stepped back. Eleanor bent to collect her scattered money. Her hands shook as she gathered the bills. When she stood up, the stranger was studying her face. "This neighborhood isn't safe at night," he said. "I work late. I don't have a choice." "Everyone has choices." Something in his tone made Elena look up. His expression had shifted, less cold, almost concerned. "I need to go home," she said. The stranger nodded. He walked back to his SUV. Elena watched him go. She still didn't know his name. The SUV's engine started, smooth and expensive. Elena began walking toward her apartment. Her legs felt unsteady. Behind her, the SUV followed at a distance, protecting her until she reached her building. Only then did it disappear into the night. Elena climbed 3 flights to her apartment. Her hands were still shaking as she unlocked the door. "Elena, is that you?" Grandmother's voice came from the bedroom, worried but trying not to show it. "Yes, Grandmother. I'm home." Eleanor hung her jacket in the tiny closet. She didn't mention the attack. Grandmother worried enough already. "How was work?" "Good tips tonight." Eleanor counted the crumpled bills. "Enough for your medicine." "You work too hard, child." Elena smiled. Grandmother said this every night. Elena never argued. She made tea and brought it to the bedroom. Grandmother was awake in her wheelchair by the window. "You look pale," Grandmother said. Her eyes were sharp despite her age. "Just tired." Elena helped arrange Grandmother's pillows, made sure the medicine was within reach. "Sleep well, Grandmother." "You too, dear." Elena went to her own small room. She pulled off her work uniform and examined the handkerchief still wrapped around her palm. The silk was expensive, quality she'd never touched before. Elena felt confused. The stranger had saved her life. But who was he? Why had he helped her? And why did she keep thinking about his eyes? Eleanor tucked the handkerchief into her dresser drawer. She'd return it if she ever saw him again, which seemed unlikely. Eleanor fell asleep thinking about gentle hands and dangerous eyes. She woke 6 hours later to sunlight streaming through her window. Elena made breakfast for Grandmother, rice porridge with the vegetables she could afford. "I need to run errands," Elena said. "Will you be all right?" "Of course. Stop treating me like an invalid." Elena smiled. Grandmother's spirit hadn't weakened despite her condition. Elena walked to the market first, then to the pharmacy for Grandmother's prescriptions. On her way home, she stopped outside her apartment building. An envelope lay on the ground by the front door. Elena picked it up. Her name was written on the front in neat handwriting. She opened it. Inside was money, exactly the amount she'd dropped the night before. No note, no explanation. Elena felt her heart racing again. She looked up and down the street, no sign of the stranger or his black SUV, but he'd been here. Elena climbed the stairs to her apartment. Her hands trembled as she unlocked the door. "What's wrong?" Grandmother asked when Elena entered. Elena showed her the envelope. Grandmother counted the money twice. "Now this is what you dropped. Every bill. Who returned it?" "I don't know his name." Elena told Grandmother about the attack, about the stranger who'd saved her. "Dangerous men don't usually help without expecting something in return," Grandmother said. Her voice was cautious. "Maybe he's not dangerous." "Child, men who frighten others just by standing still are always dangerous." Elena felt a chill. Grandmother was right. But the stranger had been gentle with her, protective. "What should I do?" "Be careful, very careful." Eleanor nodded. She put the money in their emergency jar, but she kept thinking about silk handkerchiefs and quiet authority. That evening, Eleanor walked to work with the envelope tucked in her purse. She planned to return the money if the stranger appeared. The diner was busy during dinner rush. Eleanor served table after table. Families, young couples, late workers grabbing quick meals. Around 9 o'clock, the crowd thinned. Elena was refilling the coffee station when she saw him. The stranger sat in the far corner booth, back to the wall, eyes scanning the room. Elena felt her stomach flip. He wore a different suit tonight, charcoal grey, still expensive. She grabbed the coffee pot and walked over. "Coffee?" she asked. "Please." His voice was the same, quiet, controlled. Elena poured coffee into his cup. Her hands were steady despite her nerves. "Thank you for last night," she said, "and for returning my money." "You're welcome." Eleanor waited for him to say more. He didn't. I brought your handkerchief. Eleanor reached into her apron pocket. I washed it. Keep it. I can't. It's too expensive. The stranger's eyes found hers. Eleanor felt that same electric shock from the night before. What's your name? He asked. Eleanor Ward. He nodded once, like he was filing the information away. What's yours? Hajun? Elena repeated the name silently. It suited him. Are you hungry? Our kimchi jjigae is good tonight. Just coffee. Hajun sipped his drink. Elena noticed he never fully relaxed, always alert. I should let you eat in peace, Elena said. You're not bothering me. Something in his tone made Elena pause. Not quite invitation, but not dismissal either. The breakfast shift might be safer for you, Hajun said. Elena felt defensive. I need the night tips. They pay better. Money isn't worth your safety. Easy to say when you have enough. Hajun studied her face. Elena saw something shift in his expression. Understanding, maybe. You're right, he said. Elena blinked. She hadn't expected him to agree. I need to check my other tables. Hajun nodded. Elena walked away, but she felt his eyes following her movements. When she returned 20 minutes later, Hajun was gone. Payment sat on the table with a generous tip. Elena felt disappointed, which made no sense. The next 3 nights followed the same pattern. Hajun appeared around 9 o'clock, ordered coffee, watched her work. He never stayed long, never tried to talk beyond basic pleasantries, but Elena felt safer knowing he was there. On the 4th night, Hajun didn't come. Elena found herself checking the door every few minutes, wondering where he was. Mr. Kim noticed her distraction. You keep looking for someone, he said, just watching the street. Elena felt silly. Hajun didn't owe her anything. He'd saved her once. That didn't make him her guardian. But walking home alone felt different now, more frightening. Eleanor took her usual route, past the closed shops and empty lots. She sensed movement behind her again. Helena felt her chest tighten. She looked back. A different man followed her tonight, younger, wearing a hoodie that hid his face. Elena changed direction, headed toward the main road. The man matched her movements. Elena felt panic rising. She wanted to run, but running might trigger an attack. She kept walking. Steady pace. Don't look scared. The footsteps grew closer. Elena's hands went cold. Where was Hajun? Why wasn't he watching tonight? She reached the corner where his SUV usually waited. Nothing. Eleanor felt alone and exposed. The main road was still 2 blocks away. Excuse me, miss? Eleanor spun around. The hooded man stood 5 feet behind her. I'm sorry. I think you dropped this. He held up a wallet. Elena recognized it immediately. Brown leather with a small tear near the corner. Her wallet. Oh, Elena felt embarrassed. Thank you. I didn't realize. She reached for it. The man pulled his hand back slightly. Maybe we could get coffee as a reward. Elena's stomach dropped. This felt wrong. Planned. I need to get home. Come on, just 1 coffee. Elena stepped backward. No, thank you. The man's expression changed. The friendly mask slipped. That's not very grateful. Elena turned and ran. This time she didn't care about triggering anything. This time she knew she was in real danger. Heavy footsteps pounded behind her. Getting closer. Elena ran harder than she'd ever run. Her lungs burned, her legs ached. She could hear him breathing behind her, almost close enough to grab her. Elena rounded a corner and nearly collided with a black SUV. Hajun stepped out of the driver's seat. Elena felt relief crash over her. She stumbled toward him. Someone's chasing me, she gasped. Hajun looked past her. Elena heard the footsteps stop. When she turned around, the hooded man was backing away fast. Wait, Hajun called. His voice carried authority that made Elena's pursuer freeze. Give her the wallet. The man threw Elena's wallet onto the ground. Then he ran. Hajun watched until the figure disappeared. Then he picked up Elena's wallet and handed it to her. Are you hurt? No, just scared. Elena's hands shook as she checked her wallet. Everything was still inside. How did he get this? Professional. Probably lifted it at the diner. Elena felt stupid. She should have noticed. Why are you here? She asked. I didn't see you tonight. I was watching from a different position. Elena looked up at him. You've been protecting me. Hajun didn't answer directly, but he didn't deny it either. This is escalating, he said. First the drunk man. Now this. Maybe it's just coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. Something in Hajun's tone made Elena shiver, like he knew things about danger that she couldn't imagine. What do you think is happening? Someone's targeting you specifically. Elena felt the blood drain from her face. Why would anyone target me? I'm nobody. Hajun studied her expression. Elena saw something dangerous flicker in his eyes. You're not nobody, he said quietly. Elena didn't know how to respond to that. I'll drive you home. Elena wanted to refuse. Accepting help from Hajun felt like crossing a line she couldn't uncross, but she was scared, really scared. Okay. The SUV's interior was leather and luxury. Elena had never been in a car this expensive. Hajun drove in silence. Elena stared out the window at the familiar streets. Everything looked different from inside his world. How do you know where I live? Elena asked. I followed you home the first night. Elena should have been alarmed. Instead, she felt grateful. Are you a police officer? No. Security. Hajun's mouth almost smiled. Something like that. They reached Elena's building. Hajun parked but didn't turn off the engine. What's your full name? Elena asked. Hajun Kang. Elena repeated it silently. It sounded important. Powerful. Will I see you tomorrow night? Probably. Elena opened the car door, then she turned back. Why are you helping me? Hajun was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, he said finally. Elena believed him, which somehow made everything more frightening. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Through the window, she watched Hajun's SUV until it disappeared. Elena felt like her life was shifting into something she didn't understand. The next morning brought exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. Elena moved through her routines mechanically, making breakfast, helping grandmother dress, counting money for groceries. You look troubled, grandmother said. Elena told her about the second attack, about Hajun's protection. This man, you trust him? I think so. That's not an answer. Elena felt frustrated. She didn't have clear answers about anything. He saved me twice. Men like that always want something in return. Elena knew grandmother was probably right, but Hajun hadn't asked for anything, hadn't even tried to touch her. Maybe he's different. Different men don't intimidate attackers just by existing. Elena couldn't argue with that logic. That afternoon, Elena walked to work earlier than usual. She wanted to arrive before dark. The streets felt hostile now. Every shadow could hide danger. Elena reached the diner safely. Mr. Kim was already prepping for dinner service. You're early. Couldn't sleep? Elena tied her apron and started setting up tables. Routine work helped calm her nerves. The dinner rush was busy. Elena stayed focused on customers, taking orders, serving food, making small talk, but part of her attention always stayed on the door, watching for Hajun. He appeared at 8:30, earlier than usual. Elena felt relief flood through her. She finished serving a family before walking over to his booth. Coffee, please. Elena poured his drink. Her hands were steady tonight. Quiet shift, Hajun asked. So far. Elena noticed he seemed more alert than previous nights. His eyes moved constantly around the room. Are you expecting trouble? Always. Elena felt a chill. She was getting glimpses into a world where danger was constant. So what kind of work do you do? Import business. Elena sensed that was only part of the truth, but she didn't push. Must be successful. Success has a price. Elena heard something sad in his voice, like success hadn't brought him happiness. I should let you drink in peace. Elena, she turned back. Hajun's expression was serious. Tomorrow's your day off. Yes. How did you know? You mentioned it to a customer. Elena was surprised he'd been listening that closely. Stay home tomorrow. Don't go out unless necessary. Why? I have business to handle. I won't be able to watch you. Elena felt scared without his protection, which was terrifying on its own. What kind of business? The kind that keeps you safe. Elena didn't like the sound of that. Will you be in danger? Hajun's expression softened slightly. Are you worried about me? Which made no sense. She barely knew him. I don't want you getting hurt because of me. This isn't your fault. But Elena heard certainty in his voice, like he knew exactly who was targeting her and why. Can't you tell the police? Police can't help with this. Elena felt cold. Problems that police couldn't handle meant serious criminal activity. What did I do wrong? Nothing. You did nothing wrong. Hajun reached across the table. His fingers touched hers briefly. Promise me you'll stay inside tomorrow. Elena felt the warmth of his touch. The gentleness was so different from his dangerous reputation. I promise. Hajun relaxed slightly. Good. Elena went back to work, but she kept thinking about his warning, about business that would keep her safe. Hajun left an hour later. This time he stopped by Elena's station. Be careful, he said quietly. Elena watched him go. She had a terrible feeling it might be the last time she saw him. That night, Elena's walk home felt different. Hajun's SUV followed at the usual distance, but Elena sensed tension in his protection, like tonight might be the end of something. Elena reached her building safely. Hajun waited until she was inside before driving away. Elena climbed to her apartment. Grandmother was asleep in her wheelchair by the window. Elena covered her with a blanket. Then she sat by the window herself. She could see part of the street from here. Elena watched for headlights, for signs of Hajun's return, but the street stayed empty. Elena felt alone for the first time in days. The next morning brought storms. Rain hammered against Elena's windows. The weather matched her mood. Elena made breakfast and helped grandmother with her morning routine, but worry gnawed at her stomach. Where was Hajun? What kind of business was he handling? You're distracted, grandmother said. Just tired. Elena tried to focus on normal activities, cleaning, laundry, reading to grandmother, but her mind kept drifting to Hajun's warning, to the danger he was facing because of her. Around noon, Elena felt dizzy. She'd barely eaten anything. Sit down, grandmother said. You look pale. Elena collapsed into a chair. The room spun slightly. When did you last eat? Elena couldn't remember. Stress had killed her appetite. I'll make soup, grandmother said. You can't cook from your wheelchair. I managed before you came home. I can manage now. Elena felt ashamed. Grandmother was disabled, not helpless. Elena forced herself to eat the simple soup grandmother prepared. It helped settle her stomach, but the worry remained. That evening, Elena kept her promise. She stayed inside despite wanting to check on Hajun. She made dinner for grandmother, helped with evening medications, tried to read, but concentration was impossible. Elena went to bed early. Sleep didn't come for hours. When it finally did, Elena dreamed about dangerous eyes and gentle hands. She woke to her phone ringing. Elena checked the clock. 3 in the morning. Unknown number. Elena almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? Is this Elena Ward? The voice was unfamiliar. Professional. Yes. This is Seoul National Hospital. We have Hajun Kang here. He's asking for you. Elena felt the world tilt. Is he hurt? He's stable, but he keeps repeating your name. Elena was already reaching for clothes. I'll be right there. She hung up and dressed quickly. Then she woke grandmother. I have to go to the hospital. What happened? Hajun's hurt. They called me. Grandmother looked worried. Be careful, child. Elena kissed her forehead. I'll call you. Elena ran down the stairs and out into the night. She flagged down the first taxi she saw. Seoul National Hospital, emergency. The taxi raced through empty streets. Elena's heart pounded the entire ride. At the hospital, Elena ran to the emergency desk. Hajun Kang, someone called me. The nurse checked her computer. Room 314. 3rd floor. Elena took the elevator up. Her hands shook as the floors counted up. Room 314 was private, expensive. Elena knocked softly. Come in. Hajun's voice was weaker than usual, but still recognizably his. Elena pushed open the door. Hajun lay in bed with bandages around his ribs, a cut on his forehead, his left arm in a sling, but he was alive. Elena felt tears she didn't expect. You came, he said. They said you were asking for me. I was unconscious. Apparently I said your name. Elena moved closer to his bed. What happened? Business concluded successfully. Elena saw satisfaction in his expression despite his injuries. The people targeting you won't be a problem anymore. Elena felt relief and horror simultaneously. She didn't want to know details about Hajun's conclusion. Was anyone killed? No one who didn't deserve it. That wasn't exactly a denial. Elena sat in the chair beside his bed. You could have died. But I didn't. Hajun studied her face. Elena realized she was crying. Why are you upset? Because you got hurt protecting someone you barely know. I know you. Something in his tone made Elena look up. His expression was softer than she'd ever seen it. How? You work 3 jobs to pay for your grandmother's medicine. You walk home alone every night rather than spend money on taxis. You're kind to difficult customers. You never complain even when you're exhausted. Eleanor was stunned. He'd been watching her much more carefully than she'd realized. You risk your life for a stranger every day, Hajun said. Why is it different when someone does it for you? Eleanor didn't have an answer. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Visiting hours end at 4 a.m. Elena checked the clock. 3:45. I should go. Stay. Elena looked at Hajun. His voice held an emotion she couldn't identify. The nurse said, I'll handle it. Elena believed him. Hajun seemed capable of handling anything. The nurse disappeared without another word. How did you do that? Money talks. Even in hospitals. Elena realized again how different their worlds were. Hajun lived where rules bent around wealth and power. Will you be okay? I'll recover. Elena stood to leave. Hajun caught her hand. Thank you for coming. His fingers were warm, strong despite his injuries. Thank you for protecting me. Eleanor squeezed his hand gently. Then she pulled away. Get some rest. Eleanor walked to the door. She turned back once. Hajun was watching her with an expression she couldn't read. Elena took a taxi home. Dawn was breaking over Seoul. The city looked peaceful in the early light, but Elena knew peace was fragile. Danger lurked beneath the surface of ordinary life. Hajun had shown her that world, protected her from it. Elena felt grateful and terrified in equal measure. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Grandmother was awake, waiting. How is he? Hurt but alive. Elena collapsed into a chair. Exhaustion hit her all at once. This man risked his life for you. I know. That changes things. Elena knew grandmother was right. Hajun's protection had crossed into something deeper. Elena felt scared of what that meant, but she also felt something else, something that made her heart race for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. Elena was falling for a dangerous man, and there was no going back. Elena returned to work the next evening with dark circles under her eyes. Sleep had been impossible. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Hajun's bandaged face. Mr. Kim noticed her exhaustion immediately. You look terrible, he said. Thanks for the honesty. Elena tied her apron with shaking hands. She'd spent the day worrying about Hajun's recovery and about what came next. The dinner shift passed slowly. Eleanor's attention drifted constantly. She mixed up orders twice. Focus, Mr. Kim warned. Customers notice distracted service. Eleanor tried harder, but her mind kept returning to room 314. Around 9 o'clock, Eleanor expected Hajun's usual appearance. His booth stayed empty. Eleanor felt disappointed, which was ridiculous. He was recovering from serious injuries. At closing time, Eleanor began her usual routine, wiping tables, counting tips, preparing for the walk home. Mr. Kim left through the back exit. Elena was alone. She stepped outside and locked the front door. A black sedan waited at the curb, not Hajun's SUV. Elena felt her chest tighten. Different car meant different people. The passenger window rolled down. Miss Ward. The driver was Korean, well-dressed, polite tone. Yes? Mr. Kang sent me. He'd like to see you. Elena hesitated. How did she know this was legitimate? What's your name? Daehyun Seo. I work for Mr. Kang. The man showed her an ID card. Professional photo, security company logo. Is he still in the hospital? Yes. He asked me to bring you safely. Elena felt torn. She wanted to see Hajun, but getting into a stranger's car violated every safety rule. I can take a taxi. Mr. Kang was very specific about your protection. Something in the man's tone convinced Elena. This felt like Hajun's careful planning. Elena got into the sedan. Daehyun drove skillfully through Seoul traffic. His movements were precise, professional. How long have you worked for Hajun? Elena asked. 8 years. What kind of security company? Daehyun glanced in the rearview mirror. The kind that handles complicated situations. Elena understood. Questions about Hajun's business wouldn't get direct answers. They reached the hospital quickly. Daehyun parked in a reserved space near the entrance. I'll wait here, he said. Elena took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Room 314 had 2 guards outside now. They nodded respectfully as Elena approached. Miss Ward, go right in. Elena knocked and entered. Hajun was sitting up in bed, still bandaged but more alert. You came again. Your driver was very persuasive. Ha-Jun smiled slightly. Dae-hyun follows orders well. Elena noticed fresh flowers on the bedside table. Expensive arrangements. Ha-Jun's room felt more luxurious than most hotel suites. How are you feeling? Better. The doctors want to keep me another day. Elena sat in the familiar chair beside his bed. Are you a patient who listens to doctors? Not usually, but I'm making an exception. Elena sensed there was more to his compliance. Why? Ha-Jun's expression grew serious. We have a problem. Elena felt her stomach drop. What kind of problem? Someone tried to access your hospital records yesterday. My records? Why would anyone want those? Information is valuable. Medical history, emergency contacts, work schedules. Elena felt violated. Her privacy had been invaded by strangers. Did they get anything? No. Hospital security caught it quickly. Ha-Jun paused. Elena saw something dangerous flicker in his eyes. But the attempt confirms what I suspected, which is, this isn't random, someone specifically wants you. Elena felt cold fear creeping up her spine. Who would want me? I'm nobody important. You're important to me. The words hung between them. Elena felt her breath catch. Ha-Jun, that makes you a target. Elena realized the horrible logic. Ha-Jun's protection had painted a bullseye on her back. This is because of you. Yes. Elena appreciated his honesty, but it made everything more frightening. What do they want? Leverage, pressure, ways to hurt me. Elena felt sick. She'd become a weapon in someone else's war. I should disappear. Go somewhere safe. There is nowhere safe. Not anymore. Ha-Jun's voice was quiet. Final. Then, what do we do? You come home with me. Elena blinked. Home. My estate. Full security. Protected grounds. Elena felt panic rising. I can't leave my grandmother. She'll come too. Ha-Jun had already thought everything through. Elena felt trapped by his planning. I don't want your protection. What you want stopped mattering when someone put you in crosshairs. Elena heard steel in his tone. The gentle patient was gone. This was the man who'd eliminated threats permanently. You can't force me. I can. But I'd rather you choose willingly. Elena felt tears burning behind her eyes. Her simple life was disappearing. This isn't fair. No, it's not. Ha-Jun reached for her hand. Elena pulled away. I need time to think. You have until I'm discharged tomorrow. Elena stood up quickly. The chair scraped against the floor. Don't push me, Ha-Jun. I'm trying to keep you alive. Elena heard desperation beneath his controlled tone. That scared her more than his authority. Elena walked to the door. She turned back once. What if I refuse? Ha-Jun's eyes met hers directly. Elena saw something that made her blood freeze. Then I'll watch you die. Elena left without another word. Dae-hyun was waiting in the sedan. He drove Elena home in silence. Elena climbed the stairs, feeling like her world was crumbling. Grandmother was awake, reading by lamplight. How is your dangerous man? Recovering. And demanding. Elena told grandmother about the hospital records, about Ha-Jun's protection offer. He wants us to live in his house, his estate, with security guards. Grandmother considered this carefully. Elena waited for wisdom. Do you trust him? Elena felt frustrated. I don't know what trust means anymore. Simple question. Do you believe he'll protect us? Yes. Do you believe he'll hurt us? Elena thought about gentle hands wrapping silk around her palm, about risking his life for her safety. No. Then we go. Elena stared at grandmother. Just like that. Child, I've lived 73 years. I know danger when I see it. Grandmother closed her book. Elena saw determination in her expression. This man eliminated threats to keep you safe. That level of protection doesn't come from casual interest. What are you saying? He's claimed you, whether you realize it or not. Elena felt her chest tighten. I didn't ask to be claimed. Love doesn't ask permission. Elena's breath caught. This isn't about love, isn't it? Elena couldn't answer, because deep down, she was terrified grandmother was right. The next morning brought no peace. Elena packed clothes for herself and grandmother with shaking hands. She called Mr. Kim to explain her sudden absence. Family emergency, she said. I don't know when I'll be back. Take care of yourself. Elena hung up, feeling like she was severing connections to her normal life. At noon, Dae-hyun called. Mr. Kang is being discharged. Are you ready? Eleanor looked around her small apartment. Everything familiar and safe. We're ready. Dae-hyun arrived with a medical transport van. 2 other men helped grandmother into the vehicle safely. Elena locked her apartment door. She might never see this place again. The drive through Seoul took 40 minutes. They left the crowded city center for quieter suburban areas. Hajun's estate appeared behind high walls and security gates. Eleanor felt her heart racing as they passed through multiple checkpoints. The main house was massive. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern luxury. Elena helped grandmother from the van. Her wheelchair was already waiting. "This is beautiful," grandmother whispered. Elena had to agree. Gardens stretched in every direction. Everything was perfectly maintained. Hajun emerged from the front entrance, walking carefully but under his own power. Elena felt relief seeing him upright, followed immediately by anxiety about being in his space. "Welcome," he said simply. Elena nodded. She didn't trust her voice. Hajun approached grandmother's wheelchair. Elena tensed, but he knelt gracefully to meet her eye level. "Mrs. Ward, thank you for trusting me with Elena's safety." Grandmother studied his face. Elena watched her grandmother's expression soften. "Thank you for protecting her." Hajun stood and gestured toward the house. "Shall we?" Elena pushed grandmother's wheelchair up the ramp. The front door was wide enough for easy access. Inside, Elena felt overwhelmed. Marble floors, high ceilings, artwork that probably cost more than she made in years. "Your rooms are on the ground floor," Hajun said. "Easier for the wheelchair." Elena appreciated his consideration for grandmother's mobility. A woman in a neat uniform approached. "This is Mrs. Chen. She manages the household staff." "Welcome," Mrs. Chen said warmly. "I'll show you to your rooms." Elena followed Mrs. Chen down a hallway lined with expensive paintings. Everything screamed wealth and power. "Mr. Kang had these rooms prepared specifically for your grandmother," Mrs. Chen explained. "Full accessibility, private bathroom with grab bars." Elena looked into the room. It was larger than their entire apartment. Beautiful furniture, a window overlooking the gardens. "This is too much," Elena whispered. Mr. Kang was very specific about comfort. Elena felt overwhelmed by Hajun's attention to detail. "Your room is across the hall," Mrs. Chen continued. Elena's room was equally luxurious. King-sized bed, walk-in closet, private bathroom with a soaking tub. Elena had never stayed anywhere this expensive. "Dinner is at 7, Mrs. Chen said. "Mr. Kang would like you to join him." Elena nodded numbly. When Mrs. Chen left, Elena sat on the enormous bed. Everything felt surreal. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. "Come in." Grandmother wheeled herself into the room. "This place is impressive." "Intimidating," Elena corrected. "Same thing." Grandmother positioned her wheelchair near the window. "He's wealthy, powerful, dangerous. I know. But he handles you gently." Eleanor had noticed that too. Despite Hajun's authority with everyone else, his touch with her was always careful. "Now what does that mean?" "It means he's already half in love with you." Elena felt her stomach flip. "Grandmother, the question is how you feel about him." Elena didn't know how to answer. Her emotions were too tangled to sort through. At 7 o'clock, Eleanor made her way to the dining room. The table was set for 3 with beautiful china. Hajun was already seated. He stood when Elena entered. "Please, sit." Eleanor chose the chair across from him. Grandmother wheeled herself to the head of the table. Dinner was elaborate. Multiple courses served by silent staff. Eleanor barely tasted anything. "The food is excellent," Grandmother said. "Mrs. Chen oversees the kitchen personally," Hajun replied. Elena listened to them make polite conversation. She felt too nervous to contribute. "Elena hasn't said much," Hajun observed. "She's processing." Elena looked up. "I'm sitting right here." Hajun's mouth almost smiled. "Yes, you are." Something in his tone made Elena's chest tighten. After dinner, Grandmother excused herself. Elena found herself alone with Hajun for the first time since the hospital. "Walk with me," he said. Elena followed him through glass doors onto a covered patio. The gardens were lit by soft lighting. "It's peaceful here," Elena admitted. "I designed it that way." They walked slowly. Hajun's movements were still careful from his injuries. "How long will we need to stay?" "I don't know." Elena felt frustrated by the uncertainty. "Weeks, months, however long it takes." Elena stopped walking. "Takes for what?" Hajun turned to face her. Elena saw something dangerous in his expression. To eliminate the threat permanently. Elena felt cold. You mean kill whoever's targeting me? If necessary. Elena backed away from him. I don't want anyone dying because of me. They made their choice when they decided to hunt you. Elena heard finality in his voice. This conversation was over, but Elena wasn't finished. What gives you the right to make these decisions? The right of someone who won't watch you die. Elena felt frustrated, tears building. You barely know me. I know enough. Hajun stepped closer. Elena felt trapped by his intensity. I know you work yourself exhausted to care for someone you love. I know you're brave enough to walk dark streets alone. I know you're kind to strangers even when you're afraid. Eleanor's breath caught. That doesn't mean... I know you came to the hospital when I called your name unconsciously. Eleanor couldn't argue with that. And I know you're terrified of letting anyone protect you. Eleanor felt exposed, like he could see straight through her defenses. Protection costs things I can't afford. What costs? Elena struggled to put her fears into words. Freedom, independence, myself. Hajun's expression softened slightly. I'm not trying to own you, Elena. Then what are you trying to do? Hajun was quiet for a long moment. Elena watched emotions flicker across his face. Keep you alive, keep you safe, keep you close enough that I know you're breathing. Elena felt her heart racing. Those words held more emotion than she'd expected. Why does my breathing matter to you? Hajun looked away. Elena saw something vulnerable in his expression. Because it does. Elena knew there was more, something Hajun wasn't ready to say. They walked back to the house in silence. Elena felt the weight of unspoken things between them. Breakfast is at 8, Hajun said at the door. We'll be there. Elena turned to go to her room. Hajun caught her hand gently. Thank you for staying. Elena looked down at their joined hands. His fingers were warm, strong. I didn't have much choice. You always have choices. Elena pulled her hand free. Good night, Hajun. Elena went to her room feeling more confused than ever. The next morning brought routine. Breakfast with Hajun and grandmother, polite conversation about gardens and weather. Eleanor helped grandmother settle in the sunroom afterward. Then she explored the house restlessly. The place was enormous. Eleanor counted 3 living areas, a library, a gym, and offices she wasn't allowed to enter. She was examining books in the library when she heard footsteps, small footsteps. Elena turned around. A little boy stood in the doorway, maybe 7 years old, dark hair, serious expression. Elena's heart stopped. Hajun had a son. Hello, Elena said gently. The boy didn't respond, just watched her with enormous dark eyes. Elena knelt down to his level. I'm Elena. What's your name? Silence. Elena noticed the boy held something in his hands, paper folded into shapes. Did you make that? The boy looked down at his creation, then up at Elena. Slowly, he extended his hands, offering her a paper crane. Elena accepted it carefully. The folding was precise. Beautiful. This is amazing. You're very talented. The boy's expression didn't change, but something shifted behind his eyes. Minseo. Elena turned. Hajun stood in the library entrance. Papa, the boy said softly. Elena heard love in that single word, and something else. Relief, maybe. Minseo, this is Elena. She's staying with us for a while. Minseo looked between Elena and his father. Elena saw intelligence in his young face. He doesn't talk much, Hajun said quietly. Elena understood. Children processed trauma differently than adults. That's okay. Sometimes paper cranes say more than words. Elena smiled at Minseo. The boy didn't smile back, but he didn't run away either. I should let you get back to your reading, Hajun said. Actually, I was just exploring. This place is incredible. Elena stood up, still holding Minseo's crane carefully. Minseo, would you like to show me the gardens? I saw them last night, but they must be beautiful in daylight. Minseo looked to his father for permission. If you want to, Hajun said. Minseo nodded once. Elena followed the boy through glass doors onto the patio. Hajun walked with them. The gardens were even more beautiful in sunshine. Carefully planned paths wound between flower beds and water features. Minseo led them to a small pagoda surrounded by cherry trees. This is his favorite spot, Hajun said. Elena could see why. The space felt peaceful, protected. Minseo sat on a stone bench and pulled more paper from his pocket. He began folding with practiced movements. Elena sat beside him, not too close, giving him space. "Could you teach me to make one?" she asked. Minseo glanced at her. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a fresh square of paper. For the next 20 minutes, Elena learned origami from a 7-year-old master. Her attempts were clumsy compared to his precision. But Minseo was patient. Hajun watched from nearby. Elena felt his attention like a physical touch. When Elena finally produced a recognizable crane, Minseo smiled. It was the first smile Elena had seen from him. "Thank you for teaching me," she said. Minseo nodded. Then he gathered his paper and walked back toward the house. Elena was left alone with Hajun in the garden. "He likes you," Hajun said. "He's a beautiful child." Elena paused. She wanted to ask about Minseo's mother, but the question felt too personal. His mother died 2 years ago. Elena's heart broke. "I'm sorry. Car accident. At least, that's what the police report said." Elena heard doubt in Hajun's voice. "You don't believe it was an accident?" "I believe it was a message, meant for me." Elena felt sick. Hajun's family had been murdered to hurt him. Minseo saw it happen. Elena's breath caught. "Oh God, he hasn't spoken normally since, just a few words here and there." Elena understood Minseo's silence now. Trauma had stolen his voice. The origami helps him focus, gives his hands something to do. Elena looked at the crane Minseo had given her. "Such beauty created from such pain. You blame yourself?" "I should have protected them better." Elena heard guilt crushing Hajun's voice. "It wasn't your fault, wasn't it?" Hajun turned away. Elena saw the weight he carried every day. "Is that why you're protecting me? To make up for not saving them?" Hajun was quiet for a long time. "Maybe it started that way." Elena waited for more. "But it's not that anymore." "What is it now?" Hajun's eyes found hers. Elena felt electricity in that connection. "I don't know what to call it." Elena felt her heart racing. They were approaching something dangerous, something that would change everything. A phone buzzed. Hajun checked the message quickly. Elena saw his expression change. The gentleness disappeared. Cold authority returned. "We need to go inside. Now." Elena heard urgency in his voice. "What's wrong?" "Daehyun's bringing information about who's targeting you." Elena felt her stomach drop. The peaceful morning was over. They walked quickly back to the house. Hajun's entire demeanor had shifted. He was the dangerous man again. Daehyun was waiting in Hajun's office. Elena had never seen this room before. Dark wood, expensive furniture, multiple computer monitors. "What did you find?" Hajun asked. "Jin Park." Elena saw Hajun's jaw tighten. "You're sure?" "Confirmed through 3 sources." Elena felt lost. "Who's Jin Park?" Hajun and Daehyun exchanged glances. "Someone from my past," Hajun said finally. Elena sensed there was much more to that story. "Dad, what does he want with me?" "Revenge," Daehyun said simply. Elena felt cold fear crawling up her spine. "Revenge for what?" Hajun was quiet for a moment. Elena saw him deciding how much truth to share. "Jin and I used to work together, until he crossed lines that couldn't be uncrossed." Elena understood. Business partners turned enemies. She was caught in their war. What kind of lines?" "The kind that hurt innocent people." Elena heard steel in Hajun's voice. "He thinks taking you will hurt me." "Will it?" Hajun looked directly at Elena. She saw truth in his expression. "Yes." Elena felt her world tilting again. Hajun cared enough about her that losing her would be devastating. "How much does he know about me?" "Enough," Daehyun said grimly. "Work schedule, home address, your grandmother's medical needs." Elena felt violated again. Strangers had dissected her life looking for weaknesses. "What do we do now?" "We increase security," Hajun said, "and we wait for him to make a move." Elena didn't like the sound of waiting. It felt too passive. "How long?" "Jin's patient, but not endlessly patient." A loud crash outside made everyone freeze. Daehyun was already moving toward the window. "Car backfired," he reported. But Hajun looked tense. Elena realized he was constantly expecting attack. "I should check on grandmother and Minseo." "Good idea." Elena left the office feeling like danger was closing in. She found grandmother and Minseo in the sunroom. They were looking at one of Minseo's origami books together. "Everything all right?" grandmother asked. Elena forced a smile. "Fine." Just wanted to see what you were up to. Minseo held up a complex butterfly he'd folded. That's beautiful, Elena said. Minseo smiled slightly. Elena felt honored by his trust. The afternoon passed quietly. Elena tried to relax, but tension hummed beneath the surface. At dinner, Hajun seemed distracted. He answered grandmother's questions politely, but Elena saw his mind was elsewhere. After dinner, Elena walked in the gardens again. The peaceful setting felt fragile now. Hajun found her by the pond. Nervous? He asked. Terrified. Elena appreciated that she could be honest with him. I won't let anything happen to you. You can't control everything. I can control more than you think. Elena heard certainty in his voice, but also something else, desperation. What if he doesn't want to trade? What if he just wants to hurt me to hurt you? Hajun's expression went cold. Then he'll die. Elena shivered at the finality in his tone. They walked back toward the house as darkness settled. Hajun moved close enough that their arms brushed. Elena felt comforted by his presence and terrified by how much she was depending on him. At the door, Hajun paused. Elena. She turned to face him. Whatever happens, I need you to know something. Elena's heart started racing. What? Hajun stepped closer. Elena felt trapped by his intensity. You matter to me. More than I expected. More than I should allow. Elena's breath caught. Those words held emotion that changed everything. Hajun! An explosion shattered the night. Orange light flashed across the sky. The ground shook beneath Elena's feet. Hajun grabbed her arm and pulled her inside. What was that? Firebomb! At the front gate! Eleanor's blood went cold. Jin Park had found them. Is anyone hurt? Hajun was already on his phone. Rapid Korean filled the air. Elena understood enough. Guards were reporting damage assessment, security breach. We need to move, now. Elena felt panic rising. Move where? Safe house. Different location. Elena thought about grandmother and Minseo, about leaving this beautiful place. How long do we have? 20 minutes. Pack essentials only. Elena ran to grandmother's room. She was already awake. The explosion had shaken the entire house. We have to leave, Elena said quickly. Grandmother nodded. She'd lived through war. She understood emergencies. Elena helped pack medicines and essential clothes. Her hands shook as she worked. In her own room, Elena grabbed a small bag. She included Minseo's paper crane. Hajun appeared in her doorway. Ready? Where's Minseo? With Mrs. Chen. They're leaving separately. Elena felt better knowing the boy was protected. They met at the front door. Grandmother was already in her wheelchair with a bag on her lap. 3 black SUVs waited in the circular drive, engines running. Elena helped grandmother into the middle vehicle. Hajun sat beside Elena. As they drove away, Elena looked back at the house. Flames still flickered near the front gate. Elena felt like she was losing the first place that had felt safe. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere Jin won't think to look. Elena heard certainty in Hajun's voice, but she also heard something else. This was escalating. The quiet protection was over. Now it was war. The safe house was smaller than Hajun's estate, more modern, located in a residential area that looked ordinary from outside. Elena helped grandmother from the SUV. The building had an underground garage, multiple security cameras, steel doors disguised to look normal. And this place is a fortress, grandmother whispered. Elena agreed. Every surface looked reinforced, bulletproof glass, motion sensors, armed guards trying to look casual. Mrs. Chen met them at the elevator. Minseo stood beside her, silent but unharmed. Elena felt relief seeing him safe. The boy was very brave, Mrs. Chen said. He helped pack his own things. Elena knelt beside Minseo. Are you okay? He nodded once. Then he pulled a paper crane from his pocket. This one was made from red paper. Elena accepted it carefully. Thank you. Minseo's eyes found hers. Elena saw trust building between them. The apartment was spacious but felt temporary. Everything was functional rather than beautiful. Protection over comfort. Grandmother's room had the same accessibility features as before. Elena realized Hajun had planned for multiple safe houses. How long have you been preparing for this? Elena asked. Since the day I met you. Elena felt her chest tighten. Hajun had known this would escalate from the beginning. You should have warned me. Would you have believed the danger was real? Elena considered this. Before the attacks, she would have thought Hajun was paranoid. Probably not. I had to earn your trust first. Elena realized Hajun's careful approach had been strategic. Build connection before revealing the full threat. That evening, Elena found herself restless. The safe house felt confining after the estate's gardens. She explored the apartment's limited space, living room, kitchen, small office with multiple computer monitors. Hajun was in the office when Elena passed by, speaking rapid Korean into a phone. His voice carried authority that made Elena shiver. She continued to Minseo's room. The door was slightly open. Elena knocked softly. "Come in," came a small voice. Elena entered. Minseo sat on his bed surrounded by origami paper. He was folding something complex. "What are you making?" "Dragon." Elena watched his precise movements. The boy's concentration was absolute. "Do dragons protect people?" Minseo looked up. "Papa says they do." Elena's breath caught. Minseo was speaking more than usual. "Your papa protects us too. Papa's strong, but he's sad sometimes." Elena felt her heart break. Children saw things adults tried to hide. "Why do you think he's sad?" "Mama's not here anymore, and bad people want to hurt us." Elena sat carefully on the edge of the bed. "Are you scared?" Minseo considered this seriously. "A little, but Papa won't let anything happen." Elena saw absolute faith in Hajun's protection. The boy trusted his father completely. "Can I sit with you while you work?" Minseo nodded. Elena watched him fold the dragon. His hands moved with inherited precision, Hajun's focus in miniature. "Elena." "Yes." "Are you Papa's friend?" Elena felt complicated emotions. Friend seemed too simple for what was growing between them. "I think so. Do you want me to be?" Minseo was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled slightly. "Yes. Papa smiles more when you're here." Elena felt warmth spread through her chest. Even a 7-year-old could see the change in Hajun. The dragon took shape under Minseo's fingers. Elena saw beauty emerging from simple paper. "There!" Minseo held up the finished creation. The dragon was intricate, fierce but elegant, strong enough to protect, beautiful enough to love. "It's amazing." Minseo offered it to Elena. She accepted it carefully. "This is too special. You should keep it." "For you," Minseo said firmly. Elena felt honored by his gift. "Thank you." A sound in the hallway made them both look up. Hajun appeared in the doorway. "Time for bed, Minseo." 5 more minutes. "It's already past your bedtime." Elena saw gentle authority in Hajun's tone, firm but loving. "I should let you get ready for sleep," Elena said. She stood to leave. Minseo caught her hand. "Will you read to me tomorrow?" Elena looked at Hajun. He nodded permission. "I'd like that very much." Elena left father and son for their bedtime routine. She felt honored to be included in their family dynamic. In the living room, Elena found grandmother watching the news. Korean reporters discussed increased security around the city. "Anything about us?" Elena asked. "Nothing specific, but there's tension in certain circles." Elena realized Hajun's conflict with Jin Park affected more than just their immediate situation. This is bigger than personal revenge, isn't it? Power struggles always have wider consequences. Elena felt the weight of being caught in something beyond her understanding. Hajun emerged from Minseo's room 20 minutes later. "He's asleep." Finally, he wanted to finish one more crane. Elena smiled. Minseo's dedication to his art was admirable. "He gave me this." Elena showed Hajun the red dragon. Something shifted in Hajun's expression. Elena saw surprise and something deeper. He doesn't usually share his work. "Why did he give it to me?" Hajun sat beside Elena on the couch, close enough that she felt his warmth. "Because he trusts you." Elena felt the significance of that trust. "It means a lot to me." "It should." Minseo's approval isn't easy to earn. Elena looked at the intricate dragon. "He said you smile more when I'm around." Hajun's breath caught. "He said that? Is it true?" Hajun was quiet for a moment. Elena watched emotions flicker across his face. "Yes." Elena felt her heart racing. Such a simple admission, but it carried enormous weight. "Why?" "Because you make this place feel less empty." Elena understood. Hajun had been protecting his son alone, carrying grief and responsibility without support. "You don't have to be alone anymore." Hajun's eyes found hers. Elena saw vulnerability she'd never glimpsed before. "I'm not good at accepting help." "I noticed." Hajun's mouth almost smiled. You're stubborn too. I've been told. They sat in comfortable silence. Eleanor felt something shifting between them. Trust deepening into something more dangerous. Elena, she turned to face him fully. When this is over, when Jin's no longer a threat, what happens then? Elena felt her breath catch. The question held implications that terrified her. I don't know. Would you consider staying? With us? Elena felt her world tilting. Hajun was offering her a place in his life permanently. Hajun, you don't have to answer now. Just think about it. Elena nodded, but her heart was already racing with possibilities. Grandmother wheeled herself into the living room. I'm going to bed. Don't stay up too late. Elena kissed her cheek. Sleep well. When grandmother was gone, Elena felt the intimacy of being alone with Hajun. She likes you, Elena said. She's protective. I respect that. Elena appreciated Hajun's understanding of family dynamics. She doesn't trust easily. Neither do you. Elena felt exposed by his observation. No, I don't. But you trusted me enough to come here. Elena considered this. I trusted you to protect us. That's different from trusting you with my heart. Hajun's expression grew serious. What would it take to earn that trust? Elena felt terrified by the question, because she was already dangerously close to giving it time, honesty, proof that this isn't just about protection. What else would it be about? Elena met his eyes directly. You tell me. Hajun reached for her hand. Elena didn't pull away. It's about the way you make Minseo smile, the way you care for your grandmother without complaint, the way you walked into danger to see me in the hospital. Elena felt her breath catching. It's about the way you looked at me when I was hurt, the way you touched that origami crane he gave you, the way you make this feel like home instead of hiding. Elena felt tears she wasn't expecting. Hajun, I'm falling in love with you, Elena, and that terrifies me more than any enemy. Elena's heart stopped. The words hung between them. Raw, honest, dangerous. I can't promise I won't hurt you, Hajun continued. My world is violent, complicated, full of threats you shouldn't have to face. Elena felt overwhelmed by his honesty. But I can promise I'll protect you. I'll put you and your happiness before my own safety. I'll love you the way you deserve to be loved. Elena felt tears falling. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're brave and kind and strong. I know you make me want to be better than I am. Elena stood up suddenly. The intensity was too much. This is happening too fast. Hajun remained seated. I'm not asking for an answer tonight. What are you asking for? A chance. When this is over, when you're safe, a real chance. Elena felt torn between fear and longing. What if I can't handle your world? Then we'll find a way to make it work. Together. Elena heard certainty in his voice, but also hope. Fragile and precious. I need time to think. You have all the time you need. Elena walked to her room, feeling like her heart might explode. Hajun's confession had changed everything. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Sleep felt impossible. Elena was falling for him too. Had been since the night he'd saved her. But love with a dangerous man came with costs she wasn't sure she could pay. The next morning brought routine that felt surreal after the previous night's conversation. Elena helped grandmother with breakfast, made small talk about the weather, pretended her world hadn't shifted fundamentally. Hajun appeared for coffee. His expression was carefully neutral. No pressure, no expectations. Elena appreciated his restraint. Minseo's still sleeping, she asked. He had nightmares. The move unsettled him. Elena felt protective instincts rising. Should I check on him? Let him rest. He'll be down soon. Elena nodded. She was learning to trust Hajun's judgment about his son. Around 10 o'clock, Minseo appeared, hair messy from sleep, still in pajamas. Good morning, Elena said gently. Minseo climbed into the chair beside her. Morning. Are you hungry? Mrs. Chen made pancakes. Minseo nodded. Elena served him a small stack with fruit. Did you bring your origami paper? In my room. Would you like to work in the garden later? I saw there's a small patio. Minseo's eyes brightened slightly. Can we? Elena looked at Hajun. He considered security implications. The patio's enclosed. Guards can maintain clear sight lines. Then yes, we can work outside. Minseo smiled. Elena felt gratified by his happiness. After breakfast, Elena and Minseo went to the small patio. It wasn't as beautiful as the estate's gardens, but it had natural light and fresh air. Minseo spread his papers on a small table. Elena sat beside him. What should we make today? Flowers, for grandmother. Elena felt touched by his thoughtfulness. She'll love that. They worked in comfortable silence. Minseo's concentration was absolute. Elena's attempts were improving slowly. Elena? Yes? Are you going to marry Papa? Elena's hand stilled. The question was innocent, but loaded. Why do you ask? Papa looks at you the way he used to look at Mama. Elena felt her chest tighten. Out of the mouths of children. Would that make you happy? If I married your Papa? Minseo considered this seriously. Yes, Papa's lonely, and you're nice. Elena felt emotional at his simple logic. Marriage is complicated, Minseo. It's not just about being nice. But you like Papa. Elena couldn't lie to him. Yes, I like your Papa very much. And he likes you. I think so. Then it's not complicated. Elena smiled at his 7-year-old wisdom. If only adult relationships were that simple. They finished 3 paper flowers. Elena's attempts were lopsided but recognizable. These are beautiful, she said. Grandmother will be so pleased. They went inside to present their gifts. Grandmother was in the living room reading. We made these for you, Elena said. Minseo offered his perfect origami roses. Elena added her imperfect attempts. Oh my, these are stunning. Grandmother accepted them carefully. Thank you both. Minseo beamed at her praise. Elena felt happy seeing him express joy. Hajun appeared in the doorway. Elena saw him observing their family moment. Beautiful work, he said to Minseo. Elena helped. I see that. Hajun's eyes met Elena's briefly. She saw warmth and something deeper. The afternoon passed peacefully. Elena read to Minseo from one of his books. They worked on more origami projects. Elena felt herself relaxing into the domestic rhythm. Around 4 o'clock, Hajun's phone rang. Elena recognized his business tone immediately. The call lasted 20 minutes. Hajun spoke rapidly in Korean. Elena heard tension building in his voice. When he hung up, his expression was grim. What's wrong? Elena asked. Jin's made contact. He wants to meet. Elena felt her stomach drop. Meet where? Neutral location. Tomorrow night. You're not going. I have to. Elena felt panic rising. Guy, it's obviously a trap. Of course it's a trap, but it's also an opportunity to end this. Elena saw determination in Hajun's expression. He'd already decided. What does he want? To negotiate terms. Elena knew there was more Hajun wasn't saying. Terms for what? Hajun hesitated. Elena saw him choosing words carefully. For your safety. Elena felt cold fear. He wants to trade me for something. He wants to hurt me. You're the means to that end. Elena understood the horrible logic. She'd become Hajun's weakness. Jin intended to exploit it. So we don't give him the chance. We can't hide forever, Elena. Why not? Hajun sat beside her. Elena saw exhaustion in his expression. Because that's not living, that's just surviving. Elena knew he was right. But the alternative terrified her. What if something goes wrong? I've planned for contingencies. Elena heard confidence in his voice, but also acceptance of risk. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. If this is about me, I should be there. If this is about you, you should be as far away as possible. Elena felt frustrated by his logic. You can't make all the decisions. I can make decisions about your safety. Elena saw steel in Hajun's expression. This wasn't negotiable. When? Tomorrow at 9. Elena felt time slipping away. 29 hours until Hajun walked into danger. That evening, Elena couldn't focus on anything. She helped with dinner mechanically, made conversation that felt hollow. Hajun seemed calmer than she felt. He played with Minseo after dinner, read him bedtime stories. Elena watched their interaction with new understanding. Hajun was creating normal moments, in case they were among the last. After Minseo was asleep, Elena found Hajun in the office. He was studying building plans on one of the monitors. The meeting location. Yes. Elena looked at the complex layout, multiple entrances, blind corners, too many places for ambush. This looks dangerous. Most places do when you're looking for problems. Elena felt helpless. Hajun was walking toward potential death. She couldn't stop him. Say, what happens to Minseo if something goes wrong? Hajun's jaw tightened. Elena realized she'd hit his deepest fear. Dae-hyun will take care of him. And you. Elena felt tears burning. I don't want Dae-hyun. I want you. Ha-jun turned from the monitors. Elena saw pain in his expression. I want that too. He reached for her hands. Elena let him take them. But I need you to promise me something. What? If something happens tomorrow, if Jin gets to me, you take Minseo and grandmother and disappear. Elena felt her heart breaking. Ha-jun, promise me. Dae-hyun has instructions, money, new identities. You can start over somewhere safe. Elena was crying now. I don't want to start over. I want this life with you. Ha-jun pulled her into his arms. Elena felt his strength, his warmth, his fear. I want that too. More than anything. They held each other in the office, surrounded by plans for violence. Elena felt love and terror in equal measure. Come back to me, she whispered. I'll do everything I can. It wasn't a promise, but it was honest. The next day passed slowly. Elena tried to maintain normal routines for Minseo's sake. They made origami, read books, played simple games, but tension hummed beneath every interaction. Ha-jun spent most of the day in meetings with his security team, planning, preparing, accepting the risks. Elena glimpsed him occasionally. Each time, he looked more remote, the gentleman disappearing behind the dangerous one. At dinner, Ha-jun was quiet. Minseo sensed the mood and ate without his usual chatter. Papa, are you going away again? Elena's breath caught. Minseo had learned to fear his father's absences. Just for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Promise. Ha-jun's voice was steady. I promise to try my best. It was the most honest answer he could give a 7-year-old. After dinner, Ha-jun spent an hour with Minseo, reading, talking, creating memories that might need to last. Elena watched from the doorway. Her heart broke seeing them together. When Minseo was finally asleep, Ha-jun found Elena in the living room. It's time. Elena felt panic rising. Already? I need to arrive early. Scout the location. Elena stood up. Her legs felt unsteady. Be careful. I will. Ha-jun pulled her close. Elena memorized the feel of his arms around her. I love you, she whispered. Elena felt Ha-jun's breath catch. She'd said the words without planning them. Elena, I needed you to know. Before you leave. Ha-jun kissed her forehead gently. I love you too. The words hung between them. Perfect and terrifying. Ha-jun pulled away reluctantly. Elena watched him transform into the cold, controlled man who'd first saved her. Dae-hyun will stay here. Guard the apartment. Elena nodded. She didn't trust her voice. Ha-jun walked to the door. Elena followed. He turned back once. Elena saw the man behind the mask. Wait for me. Always. Ha-jun left. Elena heard multiple locks engaging behind him. She was alone with her fear. Elena tried to read, tried to watch television. Nothing held her attention. Around 11 o'clock, she checked on Minseo. He was sleeping peacefully, unaware his father was walking into danger. Elena returned to the living room. Grandmother was still awake. You're worried? Terrified. Elena sat beside grandmother's wheelchair. He's strong, intelligent. He'll find a way. Elena hoped grandmother was right, but hope felt fragile against reality. They waited together in silence. Midnight came and went. No word from Ha-jun. Elena felt her anxiety escalating. How long should meetings take? At 1 a.m., Elena's phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. If you want to see him alive, come to the address I'm sending. Alone. You have 1 hour. Elena's blood went cold. A second message appeared. An address across the city. Elena's hands shook as she read Jin Park's ultimatum. Ha-jun was captured, possibly hurt, definitely in danger. Elena had 1 hour to save him, and she had to go alone. Elena stared at the text message. Her hands shook as she read Jin Park's ultimatum again. Ha-jun was captured. She had 1 hour to save him. Elena felt her stomach tighten with terror and determination. What's wrong? Grandmother's voice was sharp with concern. Elena showed her the phone. Grandmother read quickly. You can't go. I have to. It's obviously a trap. Elena felt tears burning behind her eyes. I know, but I can't let him die because of me. Child, think clearly. This man wants to hurt Ha-jun through you. Then he already has what he wants. Elena stood up. Her decision was made. Where are you going? To get ready. Elena went to her room. She pulled on dark clothes, comfortable shoes. She tucked Minseo's red dragon into her pocket. If she was walking into death, she wanted something beautiful with her. Elena returned to the living room. Grandmother was waiting. "Have you lost your mind?" "Maybe." Elena knelt beside the wheelchair. "If I don't come back—" "Don't say that. If I don't come back, take care of Minseo. He's been through enough loss." Grandmother's eyes filled with tears. "Elena, please." "I love you, Grandmother." Elena kissed her cheek. Then she stood and walked toward the door. "The guards won't let you leave." Elena paused. Grandmother was right. Dae-hyun had orders to keep her safe. "Then I'll have to be creative." Elena went to Dae-hyun's post by the front door. "I can't sleep. Is it possible to get some air, maybe the roof?" Dae-hyun considered this. "The building has a secure rooftop. I can escort you." "Thank you." They took the elevator to the top floor, then stairs to the roof access. The rooftop had a garden area. High walls blocked sightlines from other buildings. "Better?" Dae-hyun asked. "Much better." Elena walked to the far edge. Dae-hyun followed at a respectful distance. Elena pretended to admire the city lights. She was actually studying the fire escape. "I'll just be a few more minutes." Dae-hyun nodded. He moved to check the roof perimeter. Elena waited until he was facing away. Then she slipped over the wall onto the fire escape. Her heart hammered as she climbed down. Each step took her closer to danger. Elena reached the alley behind the building. She felt terrible about betraying Dae-hyun's trust, but Hajun's life was worth the risk. Elena flagged down a taxi 3 blocks away. "This address, fast as you can." The driver glanced at her in the mirror. "Dangerous neighborhood." "I know." Elena felt scared and determined in equal measure. The drive across Seoul took 35 minutes. Elena watched the clock anxiously. She had 25 minutes left. The address was an abandoned warehouse in an industrial district. Elena paid the taxi and got out. The building looked deserted. Broken windows, rust stains on metal siding. Elena approached the main entrance. Her footsteps echoed in the empty street. The door was unlocked. Elena stepped inside and felt her breath catch. Hajun was tied to a chair in the center of the space, blood on his face, his shirt torn, but he was alive. "Elena." "No." His voice was hoarse. "You shouldn't have come. I couldn't let him hurt you." Elena started toward Hajun. A voice stopped her. "How touching." Elena spun around. A man emerged from the shadows, Korean, well-dressed, handsome in a cold way. Jin Park. "You must be the famous Elena Ward." Elena felt ice in her veins. This man radiated violence. "Let him go, you have what you wanted." Jin smiled. "Do I? I'm here, alone, just like you demanded." "Yes, but this isn't about a simple trade." Jin walked closer. Elena forced herself not to retreat. "This is about making Hajun understand loss." Elena felt sick. Jin didn't want to trade. He wanted to destroy. He understands loss. His wife died. His son barely speaks. That was business. This is personal. Jin stopped 3 feet away. Elena saw madness in his expression. "You see, Hajun took something from me. Someone I cared about." Elena felt confusion. "Who?" "My sister. She worked for Hajun. Got too close to his operations." Elena's stomach dropped. What happened to her? Hajun had her eliminated. Called it a security risk. Elena looked at Hajun. She saw pain in his expression, but not guilt. "That's not what happened," Hajun said quietly. "Isn't it?" Jin's voice was poisonous. "My sister trusted you, and you had her killed. Your sister was selling information to our enemies. She got people killed." Elena heard truth in Hajun's tone, but also regret. "I gave her a chance to stop. Multiple chances. But she didn't stop. No, she escalated. Started targeting families." Elena understood. Jin's sister had forced Hajun's hand. "So you executed her?" "I protected innocent people from someone who had become dangerous." Jin's expression twisted with rage. "She was my blood. She was a traitor." Elena saw the fundamental divide. Jin blamed Hajun for doing what was necessary. Hajun carried the weight of necessary choices. "And now you'll watch me do to you what you did to me." Jin pulled a gun from his jacket. Elena felt her blood freeze. "Except I'm going to make you watch her die first." Elena felt terror crash over her. Jin intended to murder them both. "Please," Elena whispered. "He's learned his lesson. He's suffered enough." "Has he?" Jin pointed the gun at Elena. She saw her death in his eyes. "Hajun, any last words for your beloved?" Elena looked at Hajun. She saw love and desperation in his expression. "I'm sorry I couldn't protect you." "You did protect me. Every single day." Elena felt tears falling. At least Hajun would know she loved him. Jin's finger tightened on the trigger. Glass shattered above them. Dark figures repelled through the broken skylight, moving fast and silent. Elena threw herself sideways as gunfire erupted. She hit the concrete hard. Pain shot through her shoulder. Elena rolled behind a concrete pillar. Bullets sparked off the walls around her. Through the chaos, she saw Hajun, still tied to the chair, struggling against his bonds. Elena crawled toward him, staying low, using debris for cover. More gunfire, shouting in Korean, the sound of running feet. Elena reached Hajun's chair. Her hands shook as she worked on the ropes. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "I'm okay." The knots were tight. Elena's fingers fumbled with them. "Elena, look at me." She met his eyes. Hajun's expression was intense. "When I get free, you run. Don't look back. I'm not leaving you. You have to. Minseo needs you if something happens to me." Elena felt her heart breaking. "Nothing's going to happen to you." The last rope came loose. Hajun stood immediately. "Stay behind me." Elena followed as Hajun moved toward the wall. His movements were careful despite his injuries. The gunfire was moving away from them. Elena heard Jin shouting orders. "This way." Hajun led her toward a side exit. Elena's shoulder throbbed with each step. They were almost to the door when Jin appeared. His clothes were torn, blood on his face, gun in his hand. "Going somewhere." Hajun stepped in front of Elena. "This is between us, Jin." "No, this is about her now." Jin raised his gun. Elena saw madness and rage in his expression. "She's the reason you've gone soft. The reason you think you deserve happiness. Elena has nothing to do with our past. She has everything to do with your future." Jin's finger moved toward the trigger. Elena felt time slowing. Hajun was going to die protecting her, unless she did something. Elena grabbed a piece of concrete rubble. She threw it as hard as she could. The chunk hit Jin's gun hand. The weapon flew sideways. Jin roared with rage. He lunged toward Elena. Hajun intercepted him. The two men crashed to the ground. Elena backed away as they fought. Both were injured, both desperate. Jin was younger. Hajun was more experienced. They rolled across the concrete, fighting for advantage. Jin managed to get on top. His hands found Hajun's throat. Elena looked around frantically. She needed a weapon. Her eyes found Jin's dropped gun. Elena grabbed it. The metal was cold and heavy in her hands. "Stop!" she called. Jin looked up. His eyes went wide, seeing Elena with the weapon. "Let him go." Jin smiled. "You won't shoot. You're not a killer." Elena felt her hands shaking. "You're right. I'm not." "Then put the gun down." Elena looked at Hajun. He was struggling to breathe under Jin's grip. "But I'll do anything to protect the people I love." Elena pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the warehouse. Jin's body jerked. He fell sideways off Hajun. Elena dropped the gun. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Hajun sat up, gasping for air. Elena ran to him. "Are you okay?" "I'm alive." Elena helped him stand. They both looked at Jin's still form. "Is he dead?" Hajun checked for a pulse. "No, but he'll need surgery." Elena felt relieved. She hadn't wanted to kill anyone. Dae-hyun and 3 other men entered through the side door. "Sir, are you injured?" "Nothing serious. Get Jin to a hospital, under guard." "Yes." "Sir." Dae-hyun looked at Elena with new respect. "You saved his life." Elena felt overwhelmed by everything that had happened. "Let's go home," Hajun said gently. Elena nodded. She was ready to leave this nightmare behind. The ride back to the safe house passed in silence. Elena felt emotionally drained. Hajun held her hand the entire way. Elena found comfort in his touch. At the apartment, grandmother was waiting, still awake, still worried. "Thank God," she whispered when they entered. Elena collapsed into her grandmother's arms. All the fear and adrenaline released at once. "It's over," Hajun said. "Jin's in custody. The threat is eliminated." Elena felt relief flooding through her. The danger was finally past. "Are you hurt?" grandmother asked. "Just bruises." Elena pulled back. She saw tears in grandmother's eyes. "Don't ever scare me like that again." I won't. Eleanor felt exhausted suddenly. The night's events crashed over her all at once. You should rest, Hajun said. So should you. Eleanor looked at his injuries. He needed medical attention. Mrs. Chen called a doctor. He's on his way. Elena nodded. Hajun always thought ahead. The doctor arrived 20 minutes later. He examined both Elena and Hajun thoroughly. Bruised ribs, minor lacerations. Nothing that won't heal. Elena felt grateful for their luck. Things could have been much worse. After the doctor left, Elena sat with Hajun in the living room. The adrenaline was fading, reality setting in. You shot someone tonight, Hajun said quietly. Elena felt the weight of that action. I know. How do you feel about it? Elena considered this honestly. Scared, but not sorry. That's normal. Elena looked at Hajun. Is it? Normal for your world? Normal for protecting someone you love? Elena felt her heart racing at those words. The crisis was over. Now they had to face what was between them. Hajun, about what I said before you left. You said you loved me. Elena felt exposed, but she didn't regret the honesty. I meant it. Hajun moved closer on the couch. Elena felt electricity between them. I meant it too. They looked at each other. Elena saw everything she wanted in his expression. What happens now? Now we figure out how to build a life together. Elena felt hope blooming in her chest. You still want that? After tonight? Especially after tonight. Hajun reached for her face. His touch was gentle. You saved my life, Elena. You risked everything for me. You would have done the same. That's what people do when they love each other. Elena felt tears of relief and joy. Kazu, what do we do now? Now I kiss you. Elena's breath caught. Finally. Hajun smiled. The first real smile she'd seen all night. He leaned closer. Elena felt her heart racing. His lips touched hers, gentle at first, then deeper as Elena responded. Elena felt complete for the first time in her life. This was right. This was home. When they pulled apart, Elena was breathing hard. Worth waiting for? Hajun asked. Definitely. Elena curled against his side. Hajun's arms came around her. I love you, she whispered. I love you too. They sat together in the quiet apartment. Elena felt safe and cherished and whole. Will you marry me? Hajun asked quietly. Elena's breath caught. Are you proposing? I'm asking if you'll consider it. When you're ready. Elena thought about Minseo's innocent question, about grandmother's wisdom, about the life they could build together. Yes, she said simply. Hajun's arms tightened around her. Yes, yes, I'll marry you. When I'm ready. Elena felt Hajun's smile against her hair. How long do you think that will take? Elena considered this. Ask me again in 6 months. I will. Elena believed him. Hajun was a man who kept his promises. They stayed on the couch until dawn, talking quietly, planning a future neither had expected to find. Elena felt like her real life was finally beginning. 6 months later, Elena woke to sunlight streaming through familiar windows. She was back in Hajun's estate, home. The renovations were complete. Better security, but also warmer spaces, places where a family could grow. Elena stretched and smiled. Today was perfect for working in the gardens. She found Minseo in the kitchen with Mrs. Chen. He was chattering about his origami projects while eating breakfast. Good morning, Elena said. Elena, Minseo beamed at her. His voice was stronger now, confidence returning daily. Morning, dear, Mrs. Chen said warmly. Elena had become part of the household family. It felt natural now. Where's your papa? Office conference call. Elena nodded. Hajun's business was legitimate now. Import company expanding into technology, clean money, legal contracts. Are we still making the surprise today? Yes. Minseo was excited about their secret project. Elena had taught him to bake. They were making a cake for Hajun's birthday next week. Grandmother wheeled herself into the kitchen. Good morning, everyone. Grandmother. Elena kissed her cheek. The older woman had thrived in the estate's comfortable environment. Physical therapy, good medical care, social interaction with the household staff. Say, what are your plans today? Grandmother asked. Cake-making, garden time. Maybe a walk to the pond. Elena's days had rhythm now, work and play balanced perfectly. And tonight, Elena felt her stomach flutter. Tonight, Hajun was taking her to dinner, somewhere special. Elena suspected he might propose officially. She was ready to say yes. Tonight we'll see. Grandmother smiled knowingly. She saw everything. After breakfast, Elena and Minseo went to the kitchen. Mrs. Chen supervised their baking project. Minseo was careful with measurements. Elena handled the mixer. They worked as a team. Elena, yes. Are you happy here? Elena felt warmth spreading through her chest. Very happy, are you? Yes, I like having you and grandmother here. Elena understood. The house felt complete now, like a real family. I like being here too. The cake went into the oven. Elena and Minseo cleaned up their mess. Can we work in the garden now? Of course. They went to the pagoda, Elena's favorite spot. Minseo brought his origami supplies. The cherry trees were blooming. Everything was peaceful and beautiful. Look. Minseo held up a perfect paper butterfly. Gorgeous. What colors will you use? Pink and gold, like the flowers. Elena watched him work. His concentration was absolute. His skills had improved dramatically. Said Elena, will you always live with us? Elena felt her heart racing. Do you want me to? Yes, forever. Elena smiled. I want that too. Minseo looked up from his folding. Even if Papa makes you mad sometimes? Elena laughed. Even then. Good. They worked in comfortable silence. Elena felt grateful for this peaceful life. Hajun found them an hour later. How's the secret project? He asked. Secret? Minseo put his finger to his lips. My apologies. Hajun sat on the bench beside Elena, close enough that their shoulders touched. Conference call finished. Finally, Tokyo contracts are complete. Elena felt proud of Hajun's business success. He'd built something clean and sustainable. Dinner tonight? She asked. 7:30. I have reservations. Elena saw nervous excitement in his expression. Tonight was going to be important. Should I dress up? You always look beautiful. But yes, somewhere special. Elena felt butterflies in her stomach. She was ready for whatever came next. That evening, Elena chose a simple blue dress, the color Hajun liked best. She found him waiting in the living room. He wore a dark suit, looked elegant and dangerous. Ready? He asked. Ready. They said goodbye to grandmother and Minseo. Elena felt excited about their evening. Hajun drove to a restaurant overlooking the Han River, private dining room, candles. Perfect view of the city lights. This is beautiful, Elena said. I wanted tonight to be special. Elena felt her heart racing. Any particular reason? Elena, we've been together 6 months now. 6 perfect months. You've made Minseo happy again. You've made this house feel like home. Elena felt emotional hearing his words. You've made me happy too. Hajun reached across the table. Elena gave him her hand. I asked you once to consider marrying me. Elena's breath caught. You did. Have you considered it? Elena felt tears of joy building every single day. And, Elena smiled through her tears, and I've been waiting for you to ask properly. Hajun stood up. Elena felt her heart stop. He knelt beside her chair, pulled out a small velvet box. Elena Ward, you saved my life. You brought light back to my son. You made me believe in love again. Elena was crying now. Happy tears. Will you marry me? Will you be my wife? Will you help me build the family we all deserve? Elena looked at the ring. Simple, elegant, perfect. Yes, she whispered. Yes. Yes, Hajun. I'll marry you. He slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. Elena pulled him up for a kiss, deep and joyful and full of promise. I love you, she said against his lips. I love you too. Elena felt complete. This was her family, her home, her future. When they returned to the estate, Minseo and grandmother were waiting. Well? Grandmother asked. Elena held up her left hand. The ring caught the light. Yay! Minseo cheered. Now Elena's really our family? Really and truly, Elena agreed. Elena hugged Minseo tightly, then kissed grandmother's cheek. Hajun put his arms around all of them. Elena felt surrounded by love. Later that night, Elena and Hajun walked through the gardens, the path lit by soft lights. When should we have the wedding? Hajun asked. When Minseo's ready, when grandmother's healthy, when it feels right. No rush, no rush. We have all the time in the world. They stopped by the pond. Eleanor remembered their first real conversation here. How scared she'd been of loving him. Any regrets? Hajun asked. Eleanor thought about her old life. Small apartment, dangerous walks home, constant worry about money. Now she had safety, love, family, purpose. None. You. Only that I waited so long to find you. Eleanor leaned against his side. Hajun's arms came around her. You found me exactly when I needed you. We found each other. Eleanor looked up at the stars. Everything felt peaceful and right. What are you thinking about? Hajun asked. Paper cranes, origami dragons. How beautiful things can come from the most careful hands. Like us. Like us. Eleanor felt grateful for the journey that had brought them here. The fear, the danger, the trust built step by step. All of it had led to this moment, this love, this family. Elena looked at Hajun. He smiled. They were finally home.